Good morning, class, and welcome to the first page of the Eorzean Help Manual, brought to you by Edalborez and Steadfast Ewenity on Fabul. I, Monsieur Verde, am your professor today, and on this page we will be discussing leaves. There are two types of leaves, regional and local. We will be starting with regional, of course. There are two types of regional leaves that you'll be doing on a daily basis: battlecraft and fieldcraft. Battlecraft is rather self-explanatory in that you, as a discipline of war or magic, must kill things with extreme prejudice. Merely select your level range and camp, of course. Select a leave with the appropriate reward, and go to said camp and node and complete said leave. While we are on the subject of rewards, each leave can either offer a gil and an item, or in the case of leaves over level 20, battlecraft class marks. Also note that each leave has its own innate difficulty curve, so you might not be able to do some at some level, and some might be completely impossible to do at that same level, even at their default difficulty level, rather. So bring a body bag just in case things go sour. Next up is fieldcraft leaves. As you can infer, these are for the three gathering classes: miner, botanist, and fisher. Unlike battlecraft leaves, there is only one set difficulty level for each leave, and unlike them, there's only two leaves per gathering. And they're basically the same no matter what level you pick and no matter what class you pick. One of them involves you spawning 3 nodes or 2 nodes in the case of fishing, and once all of these are gone, you complete the leave. The other is a bit different in the fact that it spawns special items in said nodes. You need at least 3 of said item to finish the leave. And if you can't find all the items before the first leave expires, it will keep spawning more nodes until you find all the items, so you cannot fail in that way. Next up is faction leaves. Faction leaves require faction credits, which can be obtained from battlecraft and fieldcraft leaves. The base amount of faction credits you can obtain per leave is dependent on the level of the leave. This is further modified by the fact that each faction is competing against each other, and each has their own ranking for each camp. First, second, and third place. Factions in third and second place will offer more marks than factions in first place. As I said, each camp has its own ranking, so you may want to check to get them beforehand to get the most bang for your buck for each leave reset. And then moving on, we have Brotherhood of the Broken Blade, Eorzean of Shields, and Horn in the Hand. Brotherhood of the Broken Blade leaves tend to just be a lot of normal monsters, or in the case of special missions, special monsters. Although since most of these are level 50, I haven't tried them as I don't feel like getting maimed and murdered. Eorzean of Shield, on the other hand, leaves tend to spawn boss monsters or special monsters with minions. Both factions should be done with a party unless you feel like getting your ass handed to you or you feel like a challenge. Horn in the Hand, on the other hand, leaves are completely different in the fact they are non-combat. They have one set difficulty and you cannot die whatsoever, so any class can do them. Most of them are quite relaxing because they take you across the Eorzean with Diego and so to find special items. While the special missions are a bit more harrowing in the fact that most of them require you to stalk prey without the prey noticing you. Unfortunately, to make matters worse, some of these have timers as low as 10 minutes, so you don't really have that much time to relax in most of them, unfortunately. As far as rewards go, you can either get a large amount of gil, a large amount of battle class credits, or a unique item. You can only have gil you can only get gil or battle class credits. You cannot have both at the same time. As you can see, these credits are expendable, so it's 300 credits is nothing to sneeze at, in other words. So you might want to wait until a faction offers you what you really want, because spending 300 credits for 5,000 gil is not the best use of your time. And last with the regional leaves is the regional leave cap. You are capped to 8 regional leaves every reset, and each reset is 36 hours, so 8 per 36 hours. You can take any combination of battlecraft, fieldcraft, or faction leaves. And once you've completed them all, or otherwise, and the reset has passed, you can trade them in to increase the guild or class mark rewards of new leaves. Do be aware that you will get more trading value if you trade in leaves from other areas into different areas. It's difficult to explain, but, well, you'll get the hang of it. Now, moving on, we have local leaves. Local leaves are self-explanatory in the fact that most of them are indeed local, and the fact that you can craft in town, the sponsor itself is in town, so you can turn them in easily. Not all of them, though. Some of them have contacts in camps and such that you must deliver to. Unfortunately, these camps may be in areas much higher level than you, and you just might get killed by aggressive monsters if you are not careful. Local leaves are basically free experience points for crafting classes. You do not use your own materials, you do not use your own crystals or shards. You merely, as I've said, you have a sponsor that gives you basically their own materials that you craft for them. The experience you get from crafting in leaves is multiplied compared to what you can make normally. So if you make these normally, you will get less experience than if you made them in a leave. As far as awards go, you will always get an item reward that is set no matter what leave you take. This item reward is usually based on the profession you use it on, so the profession itself can use them to advance further. You may also get a certain amount of gil. The amount of gil has a certain base per level, depending on the level, but it's randomized within a certain amount, so the amount is basically, for all intents and purposes, random. Instead of gil, you might just get crafting guild marks instead. For every 10,000 gil, you get 1,000 guild marks, basically. So, as the amount of gil increases, the amount of guild marks also increases, but you can never have both at the same time. You can only have gil or marks, and they are completely random. You will also get elemental shards or crystals. The elemental aspect, and whether you get shards or crystals, is completely random as well. You may also get a higher quality to increase your item reward, whether 100 quality, 200, or 300, but this is basically telling you for good work. Trying to increase your quality that much on leaves close to your level is impossible, or very hard, if you're that hardcore, or lucky for that matter. You don't have to do it, there is no penalty for not doing it, it's just a bonus, that's all it is. If you're a masochist enough to do it, go for it, but I don't feel like failing, in other words. And one other thing, you may get the materials to craft items after you accept the leave. You will get a message in your chat log saying if you did get them. If you did not get them, you must talk to the sponsor in question and get the materials from them before you can craft said item. As you can see, there is no faction that sponsors these. These are just normal people, and you will not get any kind of credits or faction credits or anything like that for ulterior motives and leaves and such. You cannot trade faction leaves in for better rewards like regional leaves. Once you complete or fail a local leave, it will disappear from your journal, and you can accept more leaves later after the reset, as you are still capped to 8. Alternatively, if you can't reach the destination listed to turn in the leave, you can opt to abandon it next reset. But you will not get the item reward, obviously, but you can still get the craft and get the experience, technically. And that is basically the end of our first page. I hope you enjoyed this, and I am Monsieur Verde, and I am signing off. Good day.